I'm trying to pull my shower curtain back. My shower curtain, does that make sense? This right here, when I say my shower curtain, I can't even take a bath or shower while sitting here. I'm saying this is just in the way, so let me move it back with that sort of thing. So, I guess I shouldn't say It's so interesting how people, when they watch you on YouTube, they just come on your stuff and just tell you what you shouldn't say. I'm saying, because I really, in my free time, I don't really sit watching celebrities all like that, like how some people watching for hours on end. I like to watch more real life stuff when I do, if I do, right? Is it Lockdown 23 and 1? I think that's him, the individual that be talking about his experience of being in jail and what he went through, and if you drop the soap or the different nurses and all the rest, or different criminals and all the rest that's in jail. He speaking on real life. I think it is Lockdown 23 and 1. Handsome individual that speak on real life stuff about jail life and all the rest, prison, penitentiary, whatever, right? And so how he was saying how, people come on your stuff, how he was saying with his table, something about his living room table or kitchen table, doing something, drawing on it or painting on it, something he was doing, and how people was coming to check him, telling him, why would you want... I have been known over the years to hear that type of thing about people on YouTube checking people on their videos. I'm like, cool, do what you do, say what you... I mean, everybody has a right to their thoughts or feelings, but I even, thought about that. Like, if the man was painting on his table or doing something on his table, it's kind of like, what does it concern you? I'm saying how people say stuff in a way it's hater like, kind of like trashing you to tear you down in a hater type of manner, instead of lifting you up, saying, well, why are you doing that? Why are you doing this? Why, to learn something, right? Yeah, that's off the hook. But I guess for it to be open community such as YouTube is to say, well, people gonna have their thoughts and feelings there. It comes with the territory is what I'm trying to say. So like, subscribe, ID in the Discovery channel. Yes, ID in the Discovery channel. The links are provided below. Get that Discovery Go app as well as that ID Go app. You might want to get those two, combine them, make them into one. Fumbling over words, and yet no ball is here. So, a kill drive. I just titled it that way because it just seemed like it just makes sense. A kill drive. That sounds like a film in itself, right? A kill drive where, say, young innocent children, or some might say babies, are killed or dragged to their death, as a grown woman is involved and she just drives off or whatever with that, right? So, Fulton County, Indiana, Alyssa, I say Alyssa, some might say Elisa, the individual above, Alyssa Shepard, 24, struck and killed 3 kids of elementary age and severely injured a 4th kid while the kids were boarding a bus in Indiana once again. 9-year-old Olivia Stahl and her 6-year-old twin brothers Mason and Xavier Engel died in the October 30th incident. Accidents, in fact, happen all the time, and yet this sort of thing is hard to be forgiven on. So the tragedy occurred when driver Alyssa Shepard drove her truck towards the bus while failing to yield, while failing to pay attention to the flashing lights on the bus and the stop sign that was there. Not only did she not stop at the stop sign, but she also just drove past the flashing lights on the bus, which is to let you know that children are getting off the bus, and more likely they're going to make their way around the bus, as in climb out the door, down the steps, and come around the front grill area, the hood of the vehicle of the bus, to walk across. That's why, in fact, the flashing lights be there. The sign coming out is to let you know that, look, children are going to in fact cross the street. And the stop sign was right next to the bus, and yet she didn't stop for the stop sign or for the flashing lights, which is why her crime is more than likely unforgivable. Hell, in my eyes and mind, it is. Because anytime I see any flashing anything there, that's to say that a 4-year-old or 5-year-old kindergarten child could be walking. And to not have respect for an individual that young, anybody could be getting off that bus is what I'm trying to say. It could be a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old that went on a field trip or something that was on the bus. I myself think like that. Well, 2-year-old or 3-year-old, what would they be doing on a school bus? Going on a field trip, you just don't never know, because even sometimes mothers are involved with those sort of situations where even little young babies are allowed to go on field trips. You don't know. Why would a mother be on the school bus? You never even know. Schools operate differently, especially when parents are involved. Situations, you don't know with that sort of thing. Helps to think rational, as in all around the box, and even on the outside, not fitting in with that sort of thing. When you see flashing lights, that means to yield, as in stop, and don't be a dumb fuck loser, as well as a stop sign. And yet she just drove right through all of it, right? So with her driving through all this, the failure to stop, that was in fact told by Indiana State Police Sergeant Tony Slocum. And Shepard taking the lives of 3 kids and injuring the 4th kid, she has been charged with 3 counts of reckless homicide and 1 misdemeanor count for failing to honor a stop sign, leading again to the kids being injured, but also the deaths that go with it. To die is to say, right? But I still think and sense and believe, this is my personal opinion, that that's not enough because to just get charged for the sign is to say that's not enough to me. It's just not. So a blood test was performed to reveal if any drugs were in her system. No results have yet to be released. Shepard was arrested but released on a $15,000 bond. That ain't enough either. If 3 lives was taken, that's not enough. I could see if this was an accident or something like that. Then I can see, or even a medical health issue where, say, somebody slightly drive through or slightly half conscious drive through and don't really know their mental whereabouts as they're doing it, and they kill somebody. Accidents have been known to happen like that, and yet this is not one of those situations. And so a $15,000 bond, once again, is not enough. So 2 fundraising campaigns have been raised to help the family of those who lost their kids. Let me repeat that because my phone is going off. 2 fundraising campaigns have been raised to help the families of those who lost their kids, along with helping for medical bills. The fundraising is issued to help with medical bills for the purpose of a kid by the name of Maverick Lowe. A young Lowe, he in fact, when it comes to him being hit by her vehicle in that manner, because I'm wondering how fast the speed was that she was going. It must have been pretty forceful for her to knock 3 kids down and kill them in the process. The 3 children that was photographed in the photo above my head was the 3 children that in fact lost their lives. So that's in fact question her speed. It wasn't in the school zone. Or was it? No. Because to drop somebody off somewhere to say you're not in the school zone, right? School zone is usually 25 miles an hour. It in fact is. I have yet to see anywhere where it should in fact be lower. Because sometimes 25 seem a bit fast. 25 miles an hour. I think the speed limit should be about 10 miles an hour. That's a crawl space in itself. It is, right? So I'm thinking the speed limit on a regular, average, everyday American citizen road is possibly 35, in which she was traveling on. and yet to come to somewhat of a stop slowly, and yet you don't stop, and it's an incomplete stop, is to say, well, once again, what was the speed? And not only that, did you drag the bodies with you while you were driving through, or did you just knock them dead in the process, right? Helps to look at things from all sides. So yes, a young Lowe has to have multiple surgeries and may never walk again. Maverick Lowe is his name, once again. The fundraising, because to be injured like that is to say bones, stuff is going to have to be repaired, right? A young Maverick Lowe, with this woman doing this, his injuries include broken ribs, fractures in his arm and wrist, and then plastic surgery, yes, for his slip disc in his spine near the neck, and then his face, but putting his face back together. That's messy. That's why I said she needs to serve a little bit more time, because broken ribs, fractures, you got your wrist, and then for it to take a surgery to put your face back together, and you're only elementary age. That's to say, even he's gonna be messed up for life, and he is, because I just already said that more than likely he will never walk again. So to never walk again is to say, well, what do you have? A body that's not only mangled all the way up, but possibly in a wheelchair or something for life. And you don't even know what the conclusion is going to be with even that. Because sometimes even feeding tubes and all the rest go with that. And the bags for people's bowel movement, once that sort of thing can't be controlled because you can't walk, that's messed up. I'm going to leave it alone. I'll allow you, the viewer, to leave me a comment in the comment section, because I don't even want to say no more. As in not shedding tears with that. She just messed him all the way up. That's going to be somewhat of a hopeless recovery. That's just not right. So, recommended for you. Shouts out to Paula. 2, shouts out to Lieutenant Joe Kenda. That's my dude. Description rests within all these, right? Description as well as the plus sign, such as add to favorites. To add to favorites, and in fact, click the plus sign, right? Fatal vow shattered. Evil lives here. Disappeared. The last defense. Unmasked. Unlocked episodes. The last defense season 1 episode 1. For a preview visually as well as the sound is to in fact click the play button, but description will match your eyes here. You can add to watch later by clicking the plus sign. The Case That Haunts Me. All these in fact have where you can click the play button. Home Alone season 2 episode 1. American Monster season 3 episode 10. Either one of these. I got my screen set up right this time. Helps to say, because last time it was not right. On last night, to gain access to the lock, and the key is to click here. Your provider, subscriber, if you give that information, it's going to in fact, with that give you access. I spoke about this one. That's for all the cool hip kids out there. Different ones. They're on here. Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan. I was going to in fact make a video about those two individuals in question of the scandal of the beef. Rappers say beef. People say conflict. Everyday people say conflict. Whatever. In question of these two, what was much more deeper, and yet I never made the video, but if you want to watch that, that's possibly even better. I was supposed to make it, yes, a month ago. It never did, but if you want to watch this, it's in fact once again better. And you can in fact add to your watch. As in to watch it later, right? Yes. Unlock series. Same thing. Previewing shows. We're on investigationdiscovery.com if you want to come back to that. That's why I'm showing all this in preview form. More of the shows. Support the Save the Children's hurricane relief efforts. To do that is to donate here by clicking right here. Crime Feed News. To click anywhere within here is to be directed to the outside crimefeed.com. All the latest, greatest, and killings and torture and mass mayhem with that sort of thing, and abducted babies, and Florida crazy news crazy down in Florida, and bad parents and all the rest. There's categories for that even on the Crime Feed if you like scandal. To receive a newsletter is to type your email address in and click next, and you would in fact receive a newsletter from Investigation Discovery. So I think that's all to be said for now. I'm going to end this video out. Leave your thoughts, opinions, feelings, possibly frustrations, or whatever else in the comments section of what you feel about the story I just told. So I'm leaving out, and I'll be back in another video, and I'm gone.